on the Rashomon Effect. Rashomon is a film by the Japanese filmmaker Kurosawa, made just after the Second World War, when Japan lay in devastation. And the story of the film is quite simple. A number of people congregate at a broken down old gate on the edge of a city, and they start telling stories to each other. And the stories are about a murder which took place in a forest nearby. And each story is told by a woodcutter, by the supposed murderer, by an onlooker, and so on. And the film watches each of these events in turn, and each is very, very different. Different things happen, the sequence is different, the characters are different, and it ends up with the ghost of the dead person telling her story too. And at the end, the monk who's hearing these stories says in despair, you can't trust anybody. Everybody is lying. They must be lying because they're telling different things. And even the ghost lies. What a world. We have no absolutes, no firmness, no morality. It is all a whirl of subjectivity. And many people have taken the main finding of the film to be that all of us construct much of what happens around us in our minds, and we don't perceive reality head on. We are not cameras. Perceptions, experiences come into our brains, and then they are shaped by our views and so on. So we all walk around seeing different worlds. Now, this is a truth which obviously people knew to a certain extent, and certainly anyone who's investigated legal affairs know that different witnesses tell often entirely different stories, not through lying or deception, but because they really did see and hear different things. So the relativity of subjective knowledge has been well known, but this was a very graphic exploration of this, and hence the Rashomon effect is part of sociological, at least, language. And it's something which reinforced a part of me which had been somewhat of a naive empiricist, someone who believed in facts and that they were really out there and we all perceived the same facts. This added to the tendency towards relativity of perception and the sort of views of many people, including David Hume, the philosopher, and so on. The other thing that it illustrated to me, as someone who'd studied Japan and its literature to a certain extent, was the way in which a war, the first time that Japan had been defeated in war for thousands of years, well over 1,000 years, and it had lived as an island, inviolate and safe in its assumptions and social structure, and suddenly it was defeated by America. The atom bombs were dropped on it, and it surrendered without conditions. And this was a terrible blow to Japanese pride and to Japanese self-esteem. And the film, I think, is equally important as an exploration of that desperation when all the certainties of life disappear. You would find the same sort of feelings in the world wars, the First World War. Many people lost all faith in civilization and in morality. Likewise, in the Second World War, both the war and the terrible concentration camps and so on. So people despaired. What was the point of life? Was there anything good about it? And that is the other lesson of this superb film. And it's been a gradual process in Japan to build up those confidences again, and they are easily shattered. And many of us go through our Rashomon moments when, not in terms of seeing different things, but in feeling that everything is crumbled and there is no foothold and no foundations, and all is a matter of power and position. And the only way to deal with that is just to go on, and gradually the pieces hopefully will come together again.